Well, this is us, Demigod Media. Welcome. Tell us what you think.
Hello, everybody. This is Timmy God Media. This is Timmy God Media. Welcome to another episode. And today, hmm, we'll be looking at the evolution of religion. Well, not the entire evolution of religion, but something roused my interest, and I'd like to share with you. You'd share what you think about it. If I'm the only one who has observed this. I honestly doubt that. And if I'm not the only one, what do other people think about where this is going? Yeah. So the thing is, religion. If you look at it, right, religion seem most religion seem to have begun from a place of singularity, and as time goes by, or as time went by, they began to diverge. They began to diverge. You would see that everywhere, from Christianity to Islam. So it began with a singular principle of the sort, a singular principle, and with time it began to diverge. Christianity was just Christianity, and then it became Catholic, Protestant, you know, whatever. You get the drift. And then the Muslims was just Islam, and then it became Sunni Muslim, Shiite, and on and on and on, with respect to both and all religion. So you'd find that they began from a place of religion began from a place of singularity, and as time goes by, it continually diverges. It's not just a divergence that stops, right? People come up every time with some divergent thoughts, and continue the religion around that. I mean, you have no idea how much subsidiary you have in Christianity, and subsidiaries you have in many other religions as well, right? So my thought is this: do you think that there is a point that they all converge again? I mean, okay, there's a point that maybe Christianity would converge into one again, or Islam will converge into one again, or say maybe all came from one religion. Is there a point where everything will converge into one religion again? Some people are already thinking, hmm, is this guy some 666 guy or Beastly guy talking about one world religion? I mean, if you look at it, right, it's predictable. It's predictable from the way things are going, right? It's predictable. It's too obvious. Too obvious that, I mean, well, that's what I think though. But it's that's what I see. It's too obvious that that's where it's going. That's where it's headed. But of course, you might have a different perspective. So please share it in the comment section, like, share, and please subscribe. Subscribe. So please, yes. And if you want to listen to what I think about this, you don't think that I'm here to just dump some stuff on you, you know, just keep listening, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Temigod Media, and just watch the entire episode. And check out more episodes. Check out more episodes, right? You might find interesting things, things that would interest you particularly, things that might scare you, things that you think, oh, why haven't I ever considered this? You know? Just enjoy. So, my thought on this, quick one. I'll just, I usually just give a summary. I don't, it's the goal is just for us to think, right? Something for you to think about, not me you know, teaching or stuffing my own stuff, down your throat, like, oh, there you go. Anyway, so the thing is, like I said earlier, I mean, basically, I think I just summarized everything. I can as well just quit this video right now. Maybe I should. Anyway, let's see. Some things might unravel as I speak again. So like I said earlier, if you have observed, you'd find that most religion, right, they start from a place of singularity and then they diverge along the line, right? Let's even leave their evolution. There's another part of their evolution that I would love to talk about, but maybe I'll talk about it. Let's see if I can. So, and if you forgive me, but let's look at this. If you look, if you research deeper, you would find that a lot of religions have things in common. Bro, I'm not about to begin to list them, but a lot of religions actually have a lot of things in common, or there are other events that are similar to things that you have found in your religious books, right? So it borders on more of history than belief, right? So there's that part. So it's like there's a historical event. There must have been some historical event. I don't know how it was stored. Anyway, maybe, like I said, some things might just unravel. Maybe, maybe, ah, bro, maybe religion was just a system of storage. Oh my god, just maybe. Oof, maybe. Wow, you know, oh my, wow. Maybe, I mean, you know, I've I've read, I've watched some videos about some um um professors of Yoruba, and they talk about how certain historical events or things are embedded into culture, or yes, into culture, into religion, into fables. Yeah, um some traditional knowledge, things that are culture based, they are imbibed into fables, into dance, into art, into different things, right? They create a system of storage, right? Because they know that um, word of mouth is not very reliable in the transfer of this history, right? So there's that. I have a pre-knowledge about that kind of operation. So I just maybe I never thought about it to this level. So what if now this is just a what if? What if religion was is just a system to store a particular historical event? I don't know what the effect or importance or how important that event is must be to humanity for it to have warranted such system of storage. But maybe I mean this isn't supposed to be about that, but wow, maybe, just maybe, it's about, wow. I mean, think about that, because I was just going to talk about how the most of the religions seem to have come from one religion, right? But they all seem to have come from one place or one event, right? And somehow they began to spread, right? As people relocated, as people migrated, right? It spread. And I think people started adding their own beliefs, their own understanding to that event to create a religion around it. And it just kept cascading. That's that's a bit of it, right? But obviously, there must have been a major human event that everyone witnessed at that point, right? Maybe, you know, according to our geographical history, the Earth was like one single landmass before it broke into different continents. So maybe that event happened at that period where everyone could experience it, right? And then as the breaking away happened, you know, the divergence and difference. So the thought is, wow, I'm still dazed by that. So do you think there would come a point that everything will come back, everything will unite, all religion would um, fix into one? I don't know what it will anchor around. Maybe there might be an event, a major event that the whole world will experience. Of course, you know, the whole the whole world can experience a particular event at the same time now. I mean, obviously, you know how. So probably there'll be an event that would occur and the whole world would see it at once, and it will be the beginning of the unification. You know, the diversification, it wasn't instantaneous, was it? Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so the unification was maybe would begin at that process where that event happens. The event will just kick up something. I don't know what the event, but it will definitely have to be something of the same magnitude as the initial events that birthed, you know, all the other religions, all, yeah, all, most religions. So basically, this is my thoughts. But then, I'm just thinking of the how now. What would it be? What would be? I mean, of course, there are parts of there are parts of intersection, right? For most religions, there are parts where they all intersect. They have sometimes they have a common ground, right? This might have a common ground. This might have, and sometimes five religions might have a common ground, right? Something they all agree with, right? Most religions agree with some form of son, the son of a god that came. Most religions, there are lots of religions, not just Christianity, that have that kind of story, right? Or have that kind of event that occurred. So tells you that you know we have some similarities or some points of intersection. So my point is, do you think we are going to intersect? Do you think, or what's the probability of a one world religion? What would it look like? What would it look like? Would it be? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. But the way religion looks now, ah, I don't know. I don't know. If there's going to be a one world religion, I honestly hope that it is anchored on love and righteousness. At least love for everything, nature, humanity, love and righteousness, balance. If there's, I don't know if there's a religion that can, if every religion can anchor around that, then I don't know. Probably. Am I vying for it? I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But if you look at it, it seems inevitable. One world religion. It seems inevitable. It will come. I think it will. I think it will come. I don't know what it will look like, but I think it will come. And honestly, that's just it. Basically, basically. So the other part, before I end this, the other part I was looking at a religion, right, is on the morality around it. So in the other episode, I've talked about sexual morality and immorality. So now, if you look at most religions, right, or Christianity, for example, there are things that are called idolatry today, but was just custom practice of Christian religion before, right? And it's still the custom practice of some Christian sects, definitely. But you find that as they evolve, the word as they evolve, right? They sort of share some things, redefine agreement again. They redefine um, their the concept of their morality. Some will say they take it a notch higher or something, but there's always a redefinition, right? There's always a redefinition. Right? For some people, they do not find anything wrong with okay, there's an image of say a saint, and they go to pray to through the saint, and saint this, please um accept send this prayer to this. Some Christian sects do not find anything wrong with that. But there are some who find it or who take it as idolatry, right? So it's just redefined morality. Again, as you can see, in most parts, we define morality. But, for the stage sport, we need to think of the sustainability of the entire human race in anything you want to do, right? In case you want to go wild, saying, "Oh, this is what this guy is saying," oh, I think I can go wild and define my own morality. You need to think about the balance of nature, the balance of humanity, if it's sustainable for humanity, if cascaded, right? Imagine if, you started, someone looks at you and say, I can do that too, and begins to do it too, and it becomes a big thing or a national thing or a continental thing. What if it's not sustainable for humanity? What if it harms the population of humanity or the survival of the human race? What if think about anything you want to do, right? The principle of universalism. I think is one very vital principle. Just read about it if you can. Immanuel Kant. Yes, Immanuel Kant. Yes, Immanuel Kant. I think the Kant keeps, Kant. It gives ideas. So yeah, you get it. You get it. So anyway, that's it. That's it basically. So think about it. So the point is, do you think we're heading towards one world religion? What do you think one world religion will look like? Or let me redefine my question. If you were to design a religion, just say you were granted the permission to do so. If you were to design a religion, state out the morality around it, state out the terms around it, what will your religion look like? Basically, I think a lot of people live by their religion anyway, regardless of what they think they agree to. But you know, largely, 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 what we believe in. So, what do you think the one world religion will look like? Do you think the world is heading towards a one world religion? Do you think it will be good for humanity? Anyway, share your thoughts. Man, I really do need better camera. Hopefully, you guys like, subscribe. I get payouts to buy another camera and step this up so you can see my face better. You know, and we can have. I think I look better than these guys. Cheers, peace, have a good day.